Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for The Family Business. So, Sonya is at the house, and she looks outside, and she's like, you know what, I'm tired of this. She done went outside and got into the car of one of one of Brother Xavier's main people who we see throughout this series named Elijah. That's why I was saying that. And to me, he was like Christian Keys, unless it is Christian Keys and he's just playing two characters or one, or I don't know what's going on, y'all. My eyes might be going bad. I don't know. They kind of favor each other at times. Anyway, so she get in the car with him and was like, I'm pretty sure you know who I am. You need to call my husband right now. I need to talk to him. And so he was like, yes, I do know who you are. He ended up calling Brother Xavier. And he was like, okay, put her on the phone. So they talking. And so she was like, look, I broke things off with Junior. Can you please call off your dogs? This is embarrassing for people to be everywhere I'm at. She at work, the people out there, and all in the building. She go home, they all outside, out back, in the front, and doing the most. They in the lobby, they everywhere. And so she was just like, it's embarrassing. Because he trying to say, oh, well, yeah, I can understand that. I understand how that could be inconvenient. And she was like, no, it's embarrassing. So it got to the point where she was just like, look, I can't be happy being with Junior. So I would rather kill myself. Like, to make a long story short, that is basically what she said. She said, I'd rather kill myself than to sit up here married to you, not being able to be with nobody. Because ultimately, if I try to date anybody, do anything with anybody, you're going to try to kill them or, actually have them killed and do the most. And I don't want to be with you. Everything I said still stands. I don't want you. I want a divorce still. Even if I can't be with Junior, I still want a divorce. He ain't even trying to hear that. Lord, I don't understand. I cannot stand people who think that if I can't have you, nobody can have you. It's like, go somewhere and sit down. Y'all, he actually sat up there and had the audacity to tell her that she weak and she would never have the, gall basically to actually kill herself. Like, he really laughed. He was like, you wouldn't be able to do that. You all weak and all this other stuff. So eventually they got off the phone. And you could tell, like, old boy was in the car looking at her every time she said something. He would look at her like, oh my gosh. Like, he could tell how real, raw, and passionate she really was about what she said. And she meant what she said. So, she go back in the house. She in her feelings. She already was crying before she got off the phone. So, she in the house crying. Before she could turn around, Junior in there, he done spoke. And she was like, Junior, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Y'all, they acted this scene. Somebody need to get an award just for this scene. Oh my gosh, y'all, they almost brought tears to my eye. I had to tell myself this is a TV show. But anyway, he was like, I know I'm not supposed to be here. I came to get you. You know I love you. You know I want to be with you, all this other stuff. And so she was like, I need to keep my promise to your mother. I told your mother that I would stay away from you because I don't want anything to happen to you. And he was like, okay, I'll leave if you tell me that you don't love me. And she was like, Junior, you know I can't say that. Woo, child, they was really trying to get me to cry. They was really trying to get me to cry. And I was like, Junior, y'all better set it off. Junior and Sonya, set it off. Oh my gosh. I was like, y'all is really doing a lot. So anyway, they done kissed and they had their little reunion. And he was like, look, pack a bag. I have a place that we can go and, be away from everybody for a few days and hide out until we can figure out what we want to do as far as where we're going to go when we leave the country. And so she gonna go and pack a bag. Oh, child. Old boy out in the car. He done called Brother Xavier. Lord, I done said his name 5,000 times. Brother Xavier, to let him know that he thinks that something is not right with her and that she really might actually kill herself and that he really should be worried because if that was his woman, he would be worried. And so he was like, I don't think she gonna do nothing. And so he was like, but do you really think she gonna kill herself? And he was like, look, I ain't got time for these games no more. These games she playing. Go on ahead and go up in there and get her and bring her to me. And he made a point to let him know that she turned the bedroom light on again. So he thought it was a good sign. I'm like, you just don't know she in there packing a bag. But anyway, y'all, he didn't called everybody, all the brothers that are there on the premises, and told them to meet in the lobby. Well, one of them didn't answer his phone because Junior killed him because he came through the back. But they don't know that yet. So old boy Elijah went to the front door and he went on the inside and he's like, where's brother Mohammed? And so they're going and looking, and somebody finna go to the apartment. So they done got everything packed and they leaving out the back. She see old boy on the ground and she like, oh my gosh, is he dead? He was like, don't ask questions that you don't want or need to know the answer to. So they ended up leaving. He threw her in the back of the car. And before he could even close the door good, somebody got a gun up to his head. So Junior had to fight it out with this man. He ended up fighting with him, on top of him, on the ground. Fighting with a gun. And then the gun go off. Old boy get killed or shot, maimed, whatever. So then the other brothers come from the back. He just sped off in the car. And so, of course, brother Elijah ends up calling brother Xavier. I was about to say Isaiah. It's just too many. It's just too much. And let him know that they have a problem. Lord. Anyway, the most is going on and I'm here for it. So Nevada's mama, Consuela, has come back in town, and that's what she does. She'll go from coast to coast running the drug business, and then she'll come and spend time with him. And so normally what she has done, at least from what I can remember, is that she'll come in town and take him with her and or spend a little time with him if she's gonna, you know, be really, really busy and has a lot going on with certain meetings that she has to attend. But I think that they are gonna go out, or they are supposed to go out of town. But what has happened this time is she noticed that there were a whole lot of people outside, a lot of security, and Nevada filled her in on what was going on. So she let him go ahead and get in the SUV and was like, you know what, I'll be back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And so the person who is like a driver or one of the people who actually protects her closed the door and was looking kind of like, okay. And I already knew that heifer ain't got to pee. I gotta go to the bathroom, you a lie. So anyway, so they go in the house. Before she, you know, is seen in this scene, they show Orlando going up to Rob, who is like the head of security, and is talking to him about Junior. He was like, well, yeah, you know, everything happened how it happened yesterday. I understand how he feels, because y'all know he got hemmed up the last time because he thought that Rob was the one who had his keys and he wanted to leave the premises, but everybody's trying to protect him. So anyway, he was like, okay, I'll go and get him, because he hadn't come down for lunch and all this other stuff. So everybody is, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. And so it was like, he didn't come down for breakfast. He ain't up in no room. He ain't up in nowhere. His daddy done went down to to Virginia. Came here to Virginia. I said down to Florida. He came here to Virginia to look at some like 57 Chevy or something that he wants to restore. And, you know, he's not there. I'm like, LC, you doing the most lately. Like, you know you need to be at the house. Why are you... I'm just like, wait until the situation is resolved for you to act like you normally act. I'm not understanding why he done went off anywhere. And I understand it's just a flight away, but don't you want to be at the house? Like, come on now. So anyway, LC ain't nowhere to be found. I'm just like, y'all are really, this man is very dangerous. And I understand that what I neglected to mention in the last recap review is that, there's some man named Stanley who is someone who Xavier fears. For whatever reason, he is just the one person who can put a stop to him, and they are getting in touch with him. So anyway, everybody's trying to figure out what Junior added in. Things are kind of adding up. And so Charlotte, his mama, has his keys. So she went in one of the little cookie jars or the sugar containers and pulled out his keys and was like, okay, the keys are right here. He must be in his room. And so Rob came from out of nowhere, was like, he's not in his room. He jumped the gate last night and he left on foot. And so Junior is smart enough to understand that all of that high-tech security that they have is meant to keep people out. And it ain't got nothing to do with people leaving. So he hopped the gate and left on foot. So everybody tied their spirit. Everybody got a task now in order to try to hunt him down and figure out what's going on. But before everybody could disperse, Consuela come from up out of nowhere and was like, okay, what is going on? And so Charlotte was like, okay, y'all let me handle this. Everybody went and go do what they was doing. So she was like, is my son in danger? What is going on? So she was like, no, Nevada is not in danger. You know good and well, I would not have no... So, because she was just like, okay, all these men outside, the most is going on. Okay, is my son actually going to be safe here? Like, I ain't got time for this. So she was just like, trust me, you have nothing to worry about. She was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take your word for it because you are a mother. And I know that you are the type of person that is very protective over your kids. So I don't think you would do something like that. So she was like, okay. So Consuela tied. So a few of the family members have assembled over at Sonya's house, and Junior, I think he is making it clear that he is going off the grid. And like the first season, he would go off the grid and even family members would not be able to find him unless he wanted them to find him. But what he did was he left his wallet, his cell phone, and Sonya's cell phone and all that stuff just sitting there. And I was wondering why, when Junior and Sonya left the house, they showed this wing box. It's someplace called Wendell's Wings. I ain't think nothing about it until just now. So I'm thinking what is happening is the help that he asked for, or the favor that he wanted to cash in on, was from somebody that works at that place and or owns that business or whatever. So Sasha picked up on it. And especially Paris. Paris was like, and I think he had a little help. So yeah, we gonna see what happened. I can't wait. So I don't remember if I said it or not, but just in case, I don't think I did though. So y'all remember that Alvarez, who, on here his name is Alejandro. He has had to figure out what he gonna do in order to go to either New York or Los Angeles, and so he walking. Somebody who's in an older model pickup truck pulls over and asks him if he need a ride or he needs some water or whatever. And so he was like, yeah, I do need a ride. I would like some of that water that you got there. And he said a ride to LA. Apparently, wherever he at, I guess he's still in Mexico. He was like, water's cheap. Gas is expensive. Alvarez pulled out that whole stack of money that consists of $100 bills and told him that, I think that could be arranged. And then that man took that money, Alejandro, got into that truck, and that man is going to take him to LA. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. So anyway, back to brother Xavier and all this foolishness. So Orlando, Paris, anybody else? Maybe Rio. Anyway, some of his siblings, some of Junior's siblings, went over to Wendell's Wings. And he tried to play coy, trying to act like he don't know what's going on. And they was like, look, don't try to play us. We went over to his girlfriend's place and we saw a half-eaten box of wings over there. Either you saw her or you saw him. So he was like, look, man, he came by my house last night. He came, got a bag. And I ain't seen him since. I don't know where he going. I don't know where he at. So he was like, oh, they was like, okay, what was in the bag? He was like, I don't know. He gave me that bag and it's been in my safe for years. Orlando figured out that that was his go bag. Like when he need to go, whatever he need must be in that bag. Whether it's passports, money, whatever. Apparently passports wasn't a part of it because old boy provided more information stating that he asked him if he needed a ride and that he could use his truck. He was like, no, man, I'm good. Basically let him know he got a driver, somebody who's going to take him to get passports or whatever. So they trying to figure out who the person was because old boy don't know who it is. And Paris was like, well, there are like hundreds of them who will be able to do that, you know, at any time of the night. And so they're going to make some calls and figure out who it is. Y'all, a lot is going on. So brother Xavier is going and he's having a hissy fit because his wife is nowhere to be found. Brother Isaiah, Elijah, however you, because it's like 1 minute he said Elijah, and like this moment within this scene he said Elijah, and I'm like, is it Elijah or Elijah? Like, say it the way it's supposed. I don't know. Anyway, brother Elijah has come back, and everybody letting him know that brother Isaiah, brother Xavier, excuse me, y'all, is not very happy, and that he might need to watch himself. So he went in there. He was like, did you find my wife? He was like, no, I didn't. So he done tore up the hotel room before he got there. He still breaking stuff. He done went off, and long story short, he told him, you better get back out there and find my wife, because if you don't, I'm going to put brother Samuel on the case, and I know he'll get the job done. Oh, Lord. Y'all, the most is going on. The most is really, y'all, I live. They be doing the most of this show. Y'all, Alejandro Zanico, or however he say it. I never even heard them say that man's last name on the show. But anyway, Alejandro that had this man drive him to a specific bank. And I was like, okay, I know he ain't about to rob the bank, so what is we doing? He done went up in the bank, and you know he has no identification, no nothing. And so the person who came to greet him was like, well, I'm gonna need for you to go and get that stuff if you want us to provide anything for you, because you're saying that you have these accounts, so you know that's a part of policy. He told him to have somebody in particular to come out, and he was like, oh, he's on a phone call. And so security or whatever this man was supposed to be came over there and was like, is everything all right? And he was like, I think it is. He was just leaving to go and get his identification. Well, Alejandro stood right there like, I don't know who you think you're talking about, but I ain't going nowhere. Like, that's how he was just looking at him. So he politely went and interrupted that man while he was on his phone call. And at first he wasn't listening to him, and as soon as he said Alejandro's name, he stopped mid-sentence, looked up, saw him, and told the person on the phone, I'm gonna have to call you back. Went out there, and everybody is done because Alejandro is about to get things done. He is about to do what he needs to do without any identification, and that man had to tell them, oh, I can handle this gentleman, and took him into his office. And the dude who was driving him in the truck is just waiting outside of the door. Because I guess Alejandro is going to give him more money than where those thousands of dollars came from. Like, however much they did, look like some stacks. It was stacks. I don't know if it was $1,000. I don't know what it was, y'all. I ain't never had nothing like that. I don't know. It was a stack. It was something. It was a thing of hundreds, a band of hundreds. So anyway, whew, this is just so good, y'all. It's a lot going on. I'm here for it. So Harris met up with the man Stanley, right? And apparently they have been into some sex stuff together. I don't know if they've just been together for threesomes. I don't know if Harris has had to actually have any type of physical contact with this man or not, because it's an older white guy, and Harris, from what we've seen, has cheated on London with women and all this other stuff and whatever. But he said that he didn't want no money in order to do whatever it is he plans on doing to bring old boy down. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if I really feel like something been going on. And I don't know. I'm y'all, my head hurt. My head is hurting. I really feel like Harris has been sleeping with this man from time to time. And it's to the point where this man enjoys having sex with him so much that the money, like the family provided money to give to him in exchange for him bringing Xavier down, killing him, doing whatever it is, because apparently he is the only one who can stop him. And he was like, you know what I want, and I don't want that money. And I was just like, what is we doing? What is going on here? Y'all, they proceeded to go to a king-size bed. There was some woman there, some black woman, and they got undressed, and he asked him if he didn't mind using condoms because he has a wife he got to go home to, and he don't want to risk bringing nothing home. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. I got a wife I got to go home to, too. I'm married as well. I was just like, somebody please help me. Somebody please help. I don't understand what is going on here. But anyway, so Xavier then met up with old boy who has asked for his help in the past, who rolled up on the Duncans in order to kind of protect his investment. And this is the Jewish man. Well, they want to know what's going on. And, you know, he's like, well, I don't like the fact that they out here got a manhunt going on for me and my man right here and all this other stuff. So he's talking to him, trying to figure out what he can do. Meanwhile, Stanley, I don't know if he is a police sergeant or what, but he just made this speech telling everybody that we know his whereabouts, take him down with excessive force, then went all the way off. And I'm just like, somebody please, this is a lot, y'all. I'm tired. Stanley had his people to try to raid the place and get Xavier. So while they were raiding the place, old boy met up with Xavier. Like I already told y'all, Stanley met up with him. Not Stanley, the Jewish man met up with him in Jersey. And so he's trying to talk to him and talk some sense into him and let him know that that family is not to be trifled with. He ain't trying to hear it. He was like, as we speak, your people are being taken out. And he was like, we don't believe you. He had his right-hand man to call, and right as the person answered the phone, he was telling him that the police surrounded the building and they had threw some smoke in there and all this other stuff. All kinds of people got killed. He wasn't there, of course, because he met up with him. Well, he was like, well, it's true. And so he was like, okay, this is crazy. I don't understand. This fool to sat up here and told Xavier that LC is not just a car salesman. That's what people want you, that's what they want you to believe. And he let them know that they are the #1 drug distribution situation, family, all of that on the East Coast. And so they was like, what? Like, ain't nobody believing that. And then it's like coming to like a realization that, okay, this is too much. And then this man had the audacity to suggest that if he gonna kill Junior, he need to start with his daddy first. But even though he likes LC, he was just like, I like him. You know, he's just been difficult as of late. And I'm like, you cannot fault that man for wanting his family business to stay strictly in the family. But anyway, he gave him a whole envelope that had all of the information that he would need to know about LC in it. And I'm like, so for some reason, you think that if they could somehow get close enough to that family and kill everybody off, that y'all would somehow own heat. How? How, sir? You don't know the formulation. You don't know none of this stuff. Like, I'm just like, you don't know how to create it. Like, after all that has already been, you know, manufactured is gone, you ain't gonna know how to do none of this. I'm not understanding. Anyway, y'all, he done gave this man all the ammunition that he need. And I'm just like, you are trifling. Anything for money, power, and respect. I'm tired. So anyway, they all back at the house. The family all at the house. Charlotte is done. She tired in her spirit. And they were waiting to see what was going on, and they looking like, Harris, all right, what's going on with Stanley? He was like, well, we should hear from him in a minute. He thinking that it's going to be a done deal. He done called him, and he told him, yeah, we got here, and he was gone. We could tell he's been here, but, you know, he wasn't there. Oh, Lord. Charlotte is done. Like, she is done. Orlando done went off. He was like, y'all need to get out there. Y'all need to do something. Do you see her face? Do you see her face? You need to get out there and find Junior. Oh, Lord, y'all. It is everything. Anyway, that is the end of the episode. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap review. I sure have been enjoying this show. I live for it. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.